look at EHOME as well, you talk about how it can come online in the late game, obviously something that we wanted. How does it look, though, in laning? Is it going to be able to stop snowballing before it happens to even make it to that late game?
I think so. They have the Abaddon against Batrider, which is a great lane counter, getting rid of Sticky Napalm with a Photic Shield. They want to get that lane matchup so that they can play calm and easy against the Batrider lane. They have the Doom against the Darkseer, as mentioned already, so that lane stabilizes itself too. And outside of those two heroes, Sanking and Leshrac are good laners. These heroes are solid. They can fight most 2-on-2 lanes. They can even tri-lane really well if you want to do that. They can even solo lane in their own right. So I think EHOME have plenty of options here. And once again, when you look at this Anvorgesa lineup, it feels like if they don't snowball, what is their hope past the mid game? Like, it doesn't look like
massive.
It doesn't look like a game where their lineup is going to win later.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're simplifying things a little bit, right? Because I'm talking a lot about mid game for EHOME. Their early game is also good.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of reasons that we're kind of jumping into this draft and simplifying it a little bit before we do go super deep. Obviously, we had a lot of foreplay leading up to this with getting set up, and now the draft seems to be. We started in the middle of it.
I mean, it's climaxing right now, pretty much. Death Prophet, the final pick.
We mentioned that one earlier.
We did.
That's the mid-game hero. Yeah. EHOME's lineup looks really good.
Wait, so who's the safe lane for him?
I think this is
Leshrac?
Carry
Abaddon?
Or Carry. Yeah, safe lane Leshrac or Doom. Oh, Meepo. Okay. So that's even more of an all-in mid-game approach. This is another hero that doesn't fare too well in the super late game in general. Meepo generally aims to win games with the first and second Aegis, so somewhere around 20 to 30 minutes is when Meepo wants the game to finish, ideally.
So was the CK like a red herring then? They go all this AoE damage, and then they have no real single target nukes to take out a Meepo real quick?
I mean, to an extent. I don't think they planned that the whole draft. They just saw, okay, we can pick Meepo here. We have a Meepo player who wants to play it. I don't think this was a very planned setup from the beginning. If it was, it's a cool idea. It looks a bit, how to say, this lineup, it just looks a bit dodgy. Like, yes. I don't know. It has a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but you don't get that, like...
I see the scaffolding,
you don't get the
like
wholeness feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really come together for me. So EHOME for me is clearly favored in this draft, personally.
Okay, so like the packaging looks good. It's a little bit flashy, but the inside of it relatively empty.
Right.
You know, honestly, I kind of like that. I'm gonna jump on board with it with a draft
you
like
that.
That's honestly that's kind of my style. That's kind of my style.
Okay.
But
There's nothing inside.
There's just nothing up here at all. Let's go down to the casters though and hear what they have to say about this first matchup of the day.
God, what a stimulating panel, Kyle. Absolutely wonderful. They've definitely kept me on my toes.
Yeah, anything that Rich does arouses my interest, Toby, and I am super excited to get this minor underway. EHOME, Anvorgesa. I think the Meepo pick is necessary. EHOME definitely the favorites in this event. If you're going to win this game as heavy underdogs, you got to have something special.
Yeah, it wasn't the panel's been saying it all morning. It's like, you need to have a hero that's going to play a faster tempo that can move forward. And then like someone's like, oh yeah, they'll do that. And then the CK's in there. Like, well, that doesn't do enough, but... Especially like CK takes a while, it feels.
The problem is I feel like EHOME can still play with tempo, like what Syndron was saying about Meepo being more of this like mid-game carry that spikes early. That's tough to do if you lose all your towers early on. And when you consider EHOME has their 1 and 2 effectively built around this spike, you know, just killing towers early with the Edict, with the DP ultimate, you could find yourself rapidly losing map control as this Radiant side.
Do you actually feel like Meepo is able to fight early on? Like, DP's shown a hell of a lot of sustain. Doombringer's hard to lock down as well. You've got the saving from Abaddon. You've got almost the AO. Like, it may as well be a Ravage when the Meepos group up for the SK Burrow Strike as well. Like, how are they meant to stay on top of them?
The concern I always have is, and we saw this a lot at the the ESL Birmingham event, where it felt like a lot of the games came down to which team had some tool in a team fight that couldn't be dealt with, right? Batrider against no methods of cleanse, there's really nothing, you feel trapped now because he's going to get a lasso off and that hero is disabled and possibly killable. Whereas when you throw in an Abaddon into the mix, he can cleanse the lasso from himself by popping the ultimate. And in addition, you save a teammate easily. You also don't fear him in the laning phase if there's a support Abaddon there. So just you feel neutered, and it's just really not a fun hero to play, which is why they've put it onto the support role for Stinger, because it's not a real hero in this game.
All right, well, they're just going to find that Isle of Narth. Like, if you're new to, like, find yourself somewhere where you feel comfortable at least. Like, can they find, I'm sorry, that's a terrible Game
I
of
have
Thrones
no idea where you're
reference.
going. That was terrible.
That was
that was worse than the writing.
That was what, really?
No,
No,
nothing's
it
worse.
wasn't.
Yeah, a slight pause, by the way. There's a settings issue, but we should be underway shortly. Yeah, I don't want to get into this comment because I'm still pretty hurt about the way that whole series ended. It's a sore spot. It's sort of like the last 20 minutes of the final Harry Potter movie.
See, okay, so let me break it. Like, guys, we're just going to be chill for the first part of this one. Just in case at home you're like, no, don't break down the meepo. There's, to really express the feeling of the last 2 series, you need to go full Aussie. Like, you just can't care if you hurt someone's feelings when you start talking about something.
I don't
There's a
think
great YouTube channel for a guy that actually does this, and he just goes full Aussie on this. And it's like every single thing that you thought was wrong, but you never really wanted to admit was wrong, gets flagged. It's like,
we're
cool.
getting underway in a sec, Tobes, but
We
I'll
are.
just say that, you know what? If you're going to ditch my favorite show because you just booked a Star Wars trilogy and you're just bored, all right?
Yeah,
you know what? You deserve some criticism. But
who likes Star Wars? Anybody? No one. No one. Definitely not named after them, except that Universal's better than the movies. All right.
so
Let's get to the game.
Indeed. I think we're going to see aggression from EHOME. They want to make sure they get the Abaddon versus the Bat in the laning phase and really just stabilize, get their ults online, and to go back to these uncounterable mechanics, right? Think about the Doom. If he's able to get
30
CK or
seconds to
Darkseer
battle.
before they get their array of spells off, it's such an easy fight now for EHOME to win. You're all in on this Meepo if you're Anvorgesa, and Chris Luck will have a tall task ahead of him if he'd like to win his team the game.
Just love the aggressive posturing of Innocence. You know, I'll sit in front of your CK, I'll sit in front of your Grimstroke. I really don't care because there's more support around the corner. They know with Shields and Burrow Strike, they have the level of aggression. Now Death Prophet comes in for the Spirit Siphon, run up the hill, and as far away as you possibly can get.
Yeah, one of the few teams that side lanes Death Prophet. Haven't actually seen this in some time, but it's formidable if you're able to secure the laning phase, because it's one of those heroes that gets like level 3, level 4, and now can be self-sufficient on the off lane. If you try and go for her, you get the drains off, TPs come in, and it's very easy to turn things around. And another concern I have, not with the draft necessarily, but the way these heroes and roles are distributed. Synderen was talking about Whisper being this budding superstar, and I agree with him. And he's playing Darkseer here. He's not the win condition. He's the run in circles team fight bot, and I just don't know if that's playing to your strengths here.
If he's such a superstar, maybe he can go universe level and find that aggressive posture that only the greatest Darkseer players can get in the off lane. But it's real difficult to do. And if he doesn't get it, these itemizations are going to be very, very delayed. And they need them if they really want to be pushing early.
Yep, and
Wow, that's a lot of stacks. But hey, that's why you've got an Abaddon.
Yep, and I like the decision here. They played very aggressive early laning phase. The problem is they lost lane control, so you're not really threatened here by EHOME. You're going to just trade in a moment as the wave pushes in. Top lane, Whisper will free farm against the Doom, however. Going to be a trade, most likely.
And this is one of those very few times you haven't seen Observer was being planted down, trying to stop any kind of pull, so he can just easy double stack, double farm if he wants to. And maybe that's the other question, like if EHOME, because they've lost lane control, how long do they keep this up? Is it until you get that kill on the Chaos Knight? Is that even enough? In fact, they're going to try and turn around. The damage output, Innocence is low, the shield will break. Is there enough damage? Not quite. Xinq's going to have to back up as well.
Yep. You can feel the effect. The Spirit Siphon level 1, because the Death Prophet isn't level 2, there's no actual damage spam. He has 10 sticks on the Death Prophet, but he has no ability to turn his max mana into DPS, so you can't trade effectively against heroes like Bat and Grimstroke.
That's why they're being versatile in all their roles. They're looking at new targets as Innocence. Again, they're just having to back up. At least they have never-ending life. I'll tell you, how's our mid looking? Meepo has managed to get his second Meepo up.
Yeah, who actually got through? Yeah, the regen room was taken bottom by Sand King a few moments ago. Has the boots picked up early as well. You expect mid, you're just going to see Meepo rotate to the jungle. Around like level 5.
You expect Chris Brown to try and stay alive against 4-3-0 as well. They're looking to go again. 2 seconds done. Over on the Death Prophet. Quick push back with the flame breaks. The damage is pretty damn good. Into Never End. He's trying to get back towards the tower. The slow, but then again, shields. And the miscoil,
It's level 2. That's what it is, Toby. Now all of a sudden you have real damage from DP as a threat, but more importantly, Y can just spam out those miscoils. 120 heal per. Incredibly effective in lane phase. You can see he just used all his mana, now just going to walk back to base after providing so much sustain for his core.
it just seems like such a hard ask for either team to fully win that bottom lane, but of course it goes in the favor of EHOME. The longer this takes, the more they're going to get.
For now, though, I mean, the CK is still hard free farming. The problem is that, to your point, like, CK wants to snowball, but more importantly, he wants to have a level advantage. It's tough to get in a tri-lane, especially if you're just trading, even if you are out CSing slightly. Top lane, Whisper's doing a great job maximizing his efficiency. He's pulling these double waves and trying to farm jungle in the meantime. But the Doom, of course, of Faith Beyond is able to do the same on the friendly hard camp. He even had a sentry to de-ward the ward Whisper had placed because you want to block the hard camp.
Yeah, there's not going to be any kind of fight coming from this. Sand can just hide for most of the time, and the CK is not ready to rotate over unless Meepo is going to make his move as well. So you kind of have to watch that secondary Meepo, and EHOME aren't watching for it. Their observer ward, it's kind of in the camp area. So it's not seeing the movement off the mid lane.
This fight, well, this game rather, is going to come down to how the fights go. If you're Anvorgesa, you want to utilize these Darkseer shells and surges, find kills immediately with the CK, and get that one into another one. Whereas if you're EHOME, you want long, drawn-out engagements, abuse your sustain, and just kind of bait Anvorgesa in until you're able to turn it around. So I think the impetus is on the Radiant side to get aggressive, but it's just so difficult and it's so risky, especially against a Chinese side like EHOME, who will always play with discipline.
Yeah, they're always going to punish you so hard for it. They have to wait for the right timing. Like, the Meepo is just chaining his Meepos into mid, so I was like, all right, I'll still gain as much experience as I can. Ferrari is starting to hit a little bit more of a power spike, but he's still 10 CS behind. His Innocence will now be gone on. Doesn't have the shield available. Great flame break. Actually pushes him back. And as K1, who's able to spill the first blood against EHOME, Whisper will be in trouble. He rotated up with these Chain Suns, 4-3-0 with the Pulse Nova. He'll have more than enough damage to get through Whisper.
Yep. Really well done. The Doom of Faith Beyond was chasing. Now he's going to grab the bounty runes as well. And he's going to continue to try and accelerate. I like that decision from Xingqiu to TP in and try and find that kill, but they punished well in the bottom lane, immediately looking for that aggressive move as the Sand King had rotated. And now Death Prophet's in a no man's land.
Yeah, yeah, but who's got that stun to pull back unless the CK makes an aggressive move? They've only got slows available.
And now
here they go. There's that aggressive move. Flame Break pushes her back in range for the 2-second stun. You've got the extra with the Ink Swell to slow him down, but no, maybe not. Back off. Now the 4-3-0 is rotated in. Ferrari wants to find his own kill. They'll focus onto the Grimstroke. With the miscoils, the slows, he cannot dodge the Split Earth.
Yep.
And that is a rotation from EHOME that ends in the kill, and maybe up on top. Burrow Strike, a little bit out of range. So they'll tank through the Doom on the Darkseer.
Yeah, the big answer for the EHOME lineup this game will be those Leshrac TPs. It's something we saw Sumail do a ton at that ESL event playing this mid-Lesh. As soon as you're 6, 7, you're just so much damage. And especially in a game where there were a 3-on-3 scenario for so long, you just crush these under-leveled supports.
Let's keep the chase going on Xingqiu. He's used his Sandstorm as well as his Burrow Strike. And Faith Beyond's nearby to just lend that aid. Meepo's had a really good start CS-wise.
For sure. But it's CS in the jungle, keep in mind. He's only 200 net worth ahead.
Okay.
And still EHOME with a slight advantage, even though you could argue all 3 of their lanes are out CSing. It just doesn't... It's not the same when a lot of them are jungle camps. We're going to have pulls bottom. I'm just concerned about the supports, really, for Anvorgesa. I feel like it's much harder for them to have high game impact at low levels, whereas in Abaddon, a Sand King, like, you're going to land stuns, you're going to cleanse off stuns, tons of sustain. It's just a simpler game for you to play.
Or should just wait until you hit that 6 on the Grimstroke, so then you can start getting like your double stuns from the Chaos Knight.
Also spooked that Faith Beyond, with this much farm, max Devour build, he's just going to be so farmed in this game. And you look at the damage output of Anvorgesa, a lot of it is the Meepo and CK with his Phantasm up, but he's going Midas, so they won't have that ability to play with tempo for a little bit. Meepo obviously not going to want to get aggressive until... Really, I've seen E-Blade and Blink before Meepos even think about getting involved.
Do you actually like seeing this as opposed to having the early like armlet on the CK as like it was one of those?
I mean,
Like,
if you can get away with Midas, the problem is as CK, you have no farming mechanism. So if you can assume the game isn't going to end in like 20, 25 minutes, you really want to buy Midas because otherwise you just need to find kills, find fights with Phantasm every time it's up. It's much more complicated game to play. This way you're able to play aggressive but still ensure you'll continue to scale. You also have great talents and you love having that XP boost.
Well, Minus is done. 8 minutes it took for the CK to complete it. Things are pretty close as far as net worth goes, at least.
Yeah.
Not even 1,000 gold between them.
Interesting to see how the game progresses. The warding for both sides is trying to control jungle. You can see a D ward there from Grimstroke. He will miss the ward he just walked over. Some really unconventional wards placed thus far by the Dire team. Less efficient in the sense they provide less overall vision from the traditional spots, but you have the benefit of juking those common sentries. Bottom, stun out of the bat.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble with the flame break. Maybe enough space is being created. He's got a salve available. Need to pop it quickly if he was going to live through that last attack from Never End, but decides to hold and die.
That's a very early glyph, and 430 is just like, okay, thank you, I'll pop my Edict now, and this will most likely be a tier 1.
Is it for top?
No, they glyphed the wave because they didn't want it to get backlaned, I suppose. But you can see this is the power of the DP Lesh. They immediately pop their big pushing abilities. This tower dies immediately.
Yeah.
And now they're going to hunt Meatball on the side, Doom out.
Yeah, they're TPing in towards the mid. There's more coming along. So with Meepo being doomed up, at least the other Meepos can continue the fight.
Where's
They're
the
soulbound
damage?
together, and yeah, well, the damage needs to arrive. Batride's going to get in here too, but here's CK. He'll find his kill. It is a 1-for-1 trade-off. Grimstroke for the Abaddon.
Yeah.
The Bar Strike from SK to control it. Just way too much from EHOME. And with the end of the Exorcism, not only are they going to get a tower, they've got 4 kills in mid, and Darkseer never was able to arrive.
And this is the strength of squads like EHOME. You know, you can't take this fight mid and expect them to just be farming on the sides of the map. Death Prophet and Lesh both teleport. DP ult's still running, and the other 3 heroes have already collapsed on middle, and you're fighting under the ward. Look, once the Doom's out on Meatball, that fight's almost certainly lost, and there you have the issue. What do these 2 supports do? The Grimstroke pops the ultimate, but he's got level 1 Phantom's Embrace. It's not like he's doing much damage. They don't have any synergy yet, and Bat is level 3.
That's a really good hit over onto Zinkyu. He had no idea he's underneath the sentry ward. He got hit very hard by the stroke. And that's a nice little freebie to take. But you're right, like, it kind of feels like the glyph began this because they just could move so quickly in towards the mid and still have Exorcism up.
Yep, and you have Whisper finishing up a pipe in just a moment. He is very farmed, and that is a huge equalizer. And I was talking about Lesh being this just damage problem. Now you can effectively remove 4, even 5 ticks of the ultimate from your side. Maybe that buys you enough time, but where's your DPS?
It's going to come from Meepo. Like, Meepo is still, like, even with the max level Devour build, Meepo is still second net worth. I'm looking at the top 4 net worths at the moment, and 3 of them of the 4 but actually belong to Anvorgesa.
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 You gotta work on your accent.
Anvorgesa. Okay, sorry, Gosa. Yeah, Anvorgesa.
Yeah, and the thing about Meepo is that, of course, you can farm Ancients. No one on EHOME will be able to for some time. And if you're EHOME, you got to be worried. I think you're on more of a clock than this Radiant lineup, especially since the CK got the Midas, because you have to assume that at some point, especially level 20, when you get the Reality Rift Pierce's Spell Immune talent, you are so much physical damage with Phantasm up. There's nothing on EHOME that actually scales with right clicks. So once you hit 30, 40 plus minutes, you know, with no DP ult, now it's EHOME that'll actually have the damage issues that Anvorgesa currently suffer from.
It's just amazing how this this can swing around. But what can they do with it though? Like there's still no great initiation unless it's run at you, then Reality Rift back, because the Batrider is running the support role, so it's not. He doesn't have the high movement speed he's looking for just yet. But do you 5-man down? You said like before you don't want to take that fight in mid.
Well, this is the kind of move I like to see. It's really EHOME that are going to be the ones dictating the tempo. They're going to smoke up. Why? DP ult and Doom available, so it's time to invade, find a move, and that's exactly what they're going to do, and there's a Meepo just in front of them.
Yep, SK going to Burrow Strike forward to begin with, and that will be one
really
very dead Grimstroke underneath the Shrine. The Doom got on the Darkseer, but there's your big double stun, combining with the Soulbind. Now Meepo, how much damage can you do before 3-0? What a huge split up. Meepo can't do anything. The Pulse Nova's doing all the work in the back lines, even underneath the Shrine. EHOME are stronger. Triple kill for Never End.
My God, what a stun from Ferrari. That actually saves the fight. I think that perhaps if the Meepo had been a little more aggressive, you know, there was a bit of confusion, I think, about whether or not they wanted to take that fight onto the Shrine. And unfortunately, Grimstroke did not have money for buyback. Or he definitely does. TP's in. That fight's going to go differently. Just tough plays. It wasn't a poor decision. You're taking a fight under your Shrine. More importantly, you prevent EHOME from being able to turn that engagement into a tower. But it still smarts a little that you lost 4, but it doesn't change the goal disparity. I actually think it's relatively even when you consider the state of the game. Your CK lived, who is yet to upgrade into treads. Upgrade your boots, boys and girls, unless you're going for the bots like our Leshrac already has. 430 going for more of that map mobility build. I tend to see like the Yols picked up first just so you have a bit of mana sustain. But if you can get the item, you'll get the item. It means he won't be farming as rapidly for a little bit.
But he did need that to offset the effect of the Meepo. Like,
Yeah.
Meepo's keeping the side lanes pushed out all the time. So if EHOME want to have these big team fights they're looking for, they need someone who can be on the side lane, clear it quickly, and then come and join the fight.
Yep, that's a good point. And if you're Anvorgesa now, you maybe want to think about making a play. The DP ult down, the Doom ult down. That's the big window, right? You look at the Radiant side, there's no huge cooldown. Sure, Grimstroke ult, Lasso, but at the end of the day, it's just Phantasm you worry about. That is down, but you'd still rather be a CK than a Death Prophet without your ultimate.
CK at least has stuns he can combo with the rest of his team. 4-3-0's in a little bit of trouble, being backed back into the wall. Earthbind will hold him in place, and, well, you Chris Brown, he's coming in with everybody.
Yep, the Surge on the Meepo, immediately into the Earthbind with the follow-up poofs. It's just an easy kill.
And
there's the
down for 40
downside,
seconds.
as you were just saying, of Leshrac playing these side lanes. It's much easier for Anvorgesa to find those just pick-off kills rapidly just because of the Surge.
Yeah, it's something that, like EHOME look amazingly strong when they're together and their ultimates are up.
Yes.
When they're down, or when they're separated, then life gets a lot harder. And they're playing against a Meepo. Like,
Exactly.
Meepo is so good at separating teams.
If it's any other hero, you're probably still thinking, all right, you know, eventually EHOME just takes this. But you can't count out that the top 2 cores on Anvorgesa, one's got a Midas and one is a Meepo. This is a game winner, and there's not much you can do about it. Stinger, camping the bounty runes, will break the smoke as well.
Yeah, he'll be happy if he dies here. If he's the only one that dies, they're okay. But Yule Scepter up, down he'll come. Starts his run away as support was there from CK, and yeah, with the Tranquils, somebody please actually attack this Batrider into the trees. Now Firefly will finally run out. Another Spirit Siphon, and Stinger still surviving, but wasting so much time. They get 1 kill, they committed heavy smokes, but it was still a 2-2 bounty trade.
And it doesn't matter. Like, look at the gold disparity. It went in favor of Anvorgesa because Meepo is using this space. Every moment that goes by without any true activity is going to benefit this hero because you're farming so much more. You're in 3 places at once, clearing 2 sides of a jungle and Whisper pressuring this top lane. You're going to lose your tier 2 bottom, but I don't think you mind if you're Anvorgesa.
Yep, they'll let it go. Tier 3s is probably more important, but EHOME also understand they need to force the issue, right? Like, Exorcism is off cooldown. Ferrari is ready to fight, and they're gonna force it up.
There is no glyph. You got to be careful if you're Anvorgesa. You don't want to be caught off guard.
They still have great wave clear from range. Like, if it's not like the Iron Shell pushing, it's just Grimstroke's counter push, and the fact that top lane was still pushing into the tier 2 tower. So Xingqiu will begin his TP back. He's got a Blink Dagger, and he's itching to use it. The target is Darkseer. He's the closest for them.
Yeah, you have an E-Blade on the Meepo now as well. Becomes a very scary hero quickly, not just because of the amount of damage you get. It's just the farming speed. You're already farming faster than anyone else, and it just gets more. You gain so much pace when you pick up these huge stat items.
Can he actually slip in and do Roshan by himself? Like, like, I'm wondering if the tier 1 tower in mid lane is going to be the next big priority, just to open up the pit.
You'd like to be able to do that, I agree, and that's your first objective. But I don't think you're feeling very pressured now, as Anvorgesa. Your game's going kind of according to plan. You want to dodge those big team fights. You don't want to play into EHOME's hands, especially now that they have all their ultimates up. You don't want to walk into a 5-on-5. You want to bait the big spells like we've seen teams like Secret do so well, and then look to engage bottom.
Yule Scepter up. They're going to go on the CK. Split Earth will be able to connect. Flamebreak tries to create a little bit more space, pushing 4-3 all the way, and they got 3 seconds over on him. Now allow Stinger some distance under the Firefly to keep running away from Innocence, who's happy to burn. Needs to run back into it so he actually gets a little bit more life as Stinger completes his TP out. 4-3-0 can't get close enough. They actually dodged the engagement.
You are totally cool with that.
You know what? This is kind of what you're thinking, right? Like, you came into this one, and obviously as underdogs, Like, you're a Peruvian underdog. You're coming as, like, I'm up against EHOME. Like, there were talks about, like, oh, it's just a free win for EHOME. But you knew EHOME was looking for it. Xiaowei banned the Broodmother as the 5th one. They were worried about this big pick that can work for them. And it's working so far with the Meepo.
Look at this. They're avoiding the Grimstroke. They want a fight. They don't just want another measly support pick-off.
No one's there.
This could open up Roche, though, just because the Grimstroke's so close to the pit. But he does have a buyback this time. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. But they, like, can EHOME really kill Roshan without committing Exorcism? Like, because that's going to be their bigger problem, right? They have to burn Exorcism to start Roshan. It's not just... That's how you get all your physical damage into it.
It's true, top. They found Whisper this time.
Duke left, Duke right. Into the trees, begins to TP out. Faith Beyond's there, but he doesn't know. They all don't know. The Surge just moves so fast, and again, EHOME, they're chasing the red herring.
And you can see the story of this game thus far. It's EHOME, the cat, Anvorgesa, the mouses, as they try and just continue to accelerate, hide in the corners of the map, and just bait EHOME. Like, they're not making moves alone, right? There's 3 or 4 heroes just constantly charging across the map as Meepo and CK continue to farm.
Stinger up in the air once again. Your Scepter down, silence, but hey, that's where you got Firefly fall. Oh, he began the TP. Didn't realize that Xingqiu was in range. Cannot outrun, so EHOME will be able to find this kill. But once again, the question still comes begging. You're getting one pick off here, one pick off there. Meepo's getting bigger. How does EHOME actually get what they're really looking for?
Yeah, and you can see it's like the Meepo, as the time goes on, he's gaining on the game by like 500 gold maybe every couple of minutes in terms of the advantage he actually has, and it's going to continue to go this way. He's going to have possibly a blink, 3,500 gold saved. So it's a question about if you're Chris, like, does he want to just go all in on the stats? Does he want to look to get aggressive soon and play around the map? Not sure what his decision will be here. It's based on what his team decides as EHOME try to invade this critical top Radiant Shrine area.
There's a lot of observers and sentries around. They're looking for Faith Beyond, a little bit of a slow. Surge them forward. They're going to start off. Okay, not the greatest chaining stuns of all, and this may cause some problems, but maybe it won't. Not when you got a back wall in that narrow choke point. More stuns coming out. This one's Faith Beyond, and Xingqiu with the epicenter is good slow, but not enough damage output. It's still going to be a kill going the way with now finally Innocence going down. Faith Beyond will follow through. This CK's got all the damage he needs. Abaddon's already bought back, trying to fight. There's a big silence, and they bring in the Exorcism damage output. Maybe there is enough now, or can they actually get all out to safety with the CK still fighting out? I'm wondering how long it's going to take before Neepo wants to be involved, but he's not doing it. They just continue their run further and further away. Whisper surging him out, and then the Firefly out. Stinger's going to get out of here. They actually forced a buyback back on the Shrine, and they're smoking. They want to fight again.
Ultra down, it's time to go. Meepo wasn't in that fight because he actually soloed Ferrari. They had a duel in the river. Meepo lived with 140 HP, had to rotate out. Still with 4.4 gold save, and they're going to continue to pursue. Look at the speed.
They just charge him forward with Reality Rift and the stun. They're looking for the bonus damage. The E-Blade will connect over on the Doom, slowing him down. Remember, these Reality Rifts, there's such a low cooldown timer. We'll lose Xingqiu off screen as Innocence still looking to back up, but they're waiting it. It's the borrowed time. Pull him back in. And the synergy with the CK and the Grimstroke is just so damn cool.
You can see it. It's not the team fights, it's the chases. That's what Anvorgesa is looking to make work here, and it's how they started that initial fight. You force EHOME into this staggered engagement where the DP ult comes out, but he's the fifth man to the fight. That's not how you want to take these engagements as EHOME. And all of a sudden, no ults up, you're all full health, all alive. What do you do now? This is where Meepo shines.
And it's what EHOME instantly pinged out as well. It's like, hey guys, like they're going to go Roshan, but what do you do?
Yep.
Like Xingqiu can't even go for a Hallelujah style play because there's no glorious angels ready to keep him alive.
You're gonna have next item on Meepo, 5k gold saved. So that huge advantage actually wasn't even there in that fight.
And it's gonna be Scythe.
I don't know how I feel about it. I felt like maybe a Scotty, just more stats, raw HP, but Hex isn't bad when you consider they don't necessarily need the initiation if he can just continuously be the one surged in. Does make them, we'll see. I don't mind this. And he's gonna pick it up right now.
Yep.
And with the illusion rune as well, this is super scary because you can poof to those, play very aggressively now all over the map as this Meepo, and you gotta be scared if you're EHOME. You're on the back foot, and I cannot imagine this is where they expect it to be. BKB finished on the Death Prophet, however. Not that early Ags that we've seen so many times, and the smoke move, a smoke move into a Meepo Aegis.
That's confident. to say the least. And maybe they're just trying to change the tempo of this game. It's like, okay, well, they won't think we're going to fight. Like, when DP ulti is down, we don't have the damage output. They need a pick off. CK is going to be the closest for them. If he shows himself in mid lane in just a second, like, the main target they want is on bottom. And it looks like K1, he already knows. He's hiding back, smoke up. Xinq's going to walk into it, looking for a Parasite target. The Hex instantly being popped up. Beyond the fact, they hit the 3-man with a 2-man's arms as well. Stuck inside the wall. They've got nowhere to go. Faith Beyond can get himself a good start off. And he got the Doom over on Darkseer. SK's already gone down. He'll buy back, but now you'll start to see Exism do its work. Chris in the back lines. The stun 4-3-0. Man, they got to kill this guy. The Pulse Nova was just ripping through the Meepo. He's looking for some more control, but he cannot survive. The Aegis Immortal, it is going to burn. Now CK with his BKB wants to fight. He'll find Xinq. He'll Burrow Strike again. This will be a dieback from him as Meepo returns for his second round, but they're still battling into the Exism. The Hex on the lower. They're looking up the target over on Innocence, but Faith Beyond these never-ending AoE stuns. But Chris, he's got to get out. He's so low. The E-Blade pop. Faith Beyond can't connect onto him, and these stuns and backs him away from the Meepo. Protect this Meepo at all costs. Whisper is doing his job, and they can turn their attention to the big beast. It is never end to bring down this Death Prophet and then force the lane. You know they want more, and you know they're going to get more. The 3-second stun. And Anvorgesa there doing it.
So much expended on the Meepo's first life, but Toby, he's a Meepo. He's going to come back. Still so tough to take down. 2 defensive E-Blades just buying time for his squad to deal this damage. And even though the CK Illusions got wiped out immediately, they're just didn't have the damage on EHOME. A big part of that Whisper, the previous fight, he didn't get pipe or mech off before he got doomed. This time he did. So not only is he able to survive, but that's another 5 to 10 seconds of his entire squad surviving. And now they can just walk high ground with the confidence that there's no ultimates up on the enemy team.
Look at CK even. You search him looking for
He's
a fight.
got BKB again.
Yep. Already off cooldown. With the Meepo, you push so hard, no ultimates. How many lanes of racks can you take, or do you just try and look for the fight? The Poofs getting away before Xinq can get that Burrow Strike off as well. Yeah, he is top. He's taking the top lane of racks. The BKB comes out from CK, so they still want to have this battle on bottom lane. The 3-second stun and the lasso. Faith Beyond, he at least got his shields up in time, as that will allow him to survive the CK's attack. 4 heroes on bottom looking for their fight. Xinq's able to get the burrow, but the top is going once again. The tier 3 towns are under attack. EHOME have to look behind. They're already signed the TP out from Xinq, and this will buy the space for Whisper to try and surge himself away. The Yules will cancel it, so Whisper will still go down. And he's dead for a pretty long time, but what do you see him do? Back up, look for the 4 bounty runes, control the money, because it's starting to really swing Radiant side.
They are feeling themselves right now. And they could have taken top tier 3, really. Meepo left the base to clear top creep wave, even though backdoor protection was already down because of bottom. Otherwise, that top tower, and maybe even the range Rex, is certainly dying. And they only lose the Darkseer, which you'll take here in this scenario. And it's about that time I was about to say, please buy a blink on the Meepo. I hope that's what we got coming out here, because that mobility, suddenly you're a threat to any target that you're finding isolated, especially when you have that Hex this early.
He's holding the cash for now. And it's a Shadow Blade.
Okay, that's sort of the same thing.
Sorta. It's not that instant pop you're looking for, though, right?
Yeah, I prefer Shadow Blade on heroes, like Slark, where it's all about the attack into the damage output. Meepo is more of a, it just, blink Hex burst. It works the same, especially when you grab a Haste Rune and you pop the Invis. Just higher risk for a potentially higher reward.
I suppose you can at least get some stats from it later on as you get more and more money. Like, you can actually build into a Silver Edge. Meepo having a crack at bottom. Can't actually find Xinq. Xinq will get the 3-man stun, and Ferrari begins his TP in as well. Looking for a target, but this means CK turns around. The Hex was so quick, and a 4-second stun. They're just lacquering it on top, and the fact SK will take that. He'll come in with the epicenter, but the damage is almost nothing. EHOME is fighting, and they don't have buybacks. Did they just lose the game?
I mean, they lost to Rax. That's a Meepo. In what world was that a play? I mean, sure, you've got some heroes in support that could come in, but they were so far. And you just don't expect the speed, right? CK surged in, just already on top of you. Pop the Crimson Guard, but I do not believe this will save the melee Rags.
They don't even know that the buybacks aren't available. If they can find another target, Anvorgesa are going to just go for it. And here we go. CK search him in, put the Iron Shell, pull him back in, and the Soulbind with the chaining stun. It's going to be a 1-1 trade-off here. Never end, at least with the BKB. He's able to survive a little bit longer. Meepo's just using the physical damage to do the work. Have they got another lockdown? Yeah, into Innocence. Pop that LOA. And now full retreat. Don't force the issue. The Burrow strikes in Q. It may as well be a Ravage. He's got everything. Meepo needs some distance. You'll Scepter up. At least the E-Blade's going to stop the Doom from attacking in. But NeverEnd's got the damage output right behind him. And he still took the full lane of racks on bottom. This is the advantage. But EHOME fight back with a huge Xingqiu stun.
Just a little too aggressive there, Toby. I like the decision to, try and attack this DP as the Meepo, but you wanted to be getting at least one of your allies out safe. Like, just save the course. Meepo dies, it's not a huge deal. You only lose 2. You get a Rax, but it gives a bit of life into the side of EHOME. And you can see the less damage output is still scary. We'll continue to scale. The big talent is level 20, where you get plus 50 Pulse Nova damage. That is huge, especially when you consider the Phantasm, the Meepo illusions. It's just, that's like the real spike for Leshrac. And after that, it's just the talents. The Edict explosions as well, of course. He did have a Bloodstone for that engagement, but I don't, he died before, so he's just now starting to like rebuild the charges. You have your ults up soon. No Roche for 1 to 4 minutes.
This will all take some time, but you can see that the pressure already being applied on the top lane.
The CK Heart is going to be huge.
He's your front liner, right? Like he's the one that we've already seen. Like Iron Shoal, surge him in.
It's more about keeping his Phantasms alive. That's the key. It gives them so much of an HP boost. Because it's like 3 or 4 more ticks of the Nova that they're going to be able to tank. That represents just oodles of damage if they're alive for just 1 more extra Reality Rift.
Well, they're trying to give Ferrari that space to get to 20. They're giving him solo camps down the bottom. But how far can you go out before you feel like you could be getting ganked? And their dire vision does not extend beyond the river.
And there's the Ags on the Death Drop. We've been waiting for that one. And in reality, Chris Luck could have been playing more split around the map, and that's what Ferrari's respecting right now, because if at any point he's alone and there's a Shadowbladed Meepo on top of him, he just dies if there's no support nearby.
Oh, here comes EHOME. They are blind. They see absolutely nothing. They need a target.
It's for the
4-3 is going to reveal himself, and
he's got a BKB on Bat.
Yeah, well, this should be a hard fight, or maybe it won't be. Not when you get the Chain Suns off. You'll never get the BKB off, but the Soulbind attack through the rear. Batride's already going to buy back as well, and they're fighting underneath this wall. Vax'd back in once again. NeverEnd does not have the damage output. CK's has got all the strength in the world. As they look for the extra control, another stun, another pull back. Oh my god!
The heart just landed, Toby, and you can see those Phantasms still alive. And the Doom used, DP ult was saved, but once again, EHOME go for a fight, open on a support, a level 12 Bat that just buys back. It accomplishes nothing, and now you're all of a sudden threatened by...
Everywhere?
Yeah. This top Rax is going to go down. Your mid tower is going down. Do you have buybacks on Lesh? No, you don't.
No, they have buybacks only on a Batten. Like, without the Leshrac, they don't have that clearance damage anymore, and it feels too easy for these cheap abilities for Anvorgesa just to initiate, because here you go again, another 3-second stun, the silence over on the Doombringer, now the chaining Hex, they just want to kill him off before anything can happen. Doom at least gets a War Stomp to happen, and the chaining silence, and the fact, and the lasso, everyone's being pulled back in this one. Stinger will go down, 70 seconds on the sideline, and the Burrow Strike, Xingqiu's just forever getting these huge chain stuns, and combining with the epicenter, the damage output, Chris is so low, he's going to go down as well. Have they pushed too far? Have you bought off more than you can chew? No. It is the burger you cannot digest, and even the Grimstroke trying to save his teammate who would just BKB and TP out anyway. 90 seconds without Grimstroke. Batrider's down for a while, and they didn't take a second lane of Rax from this.
It's one of those scenarios I really wish, Toby, they just went for the buildings. That's a Crimson Guard Doom that just blows all his defensive abilities. He wants you to kill him. It's Faith Beyond. He's a TI winner. Yeah, he's out of position because he's trying to die instead of his buildings. And unfortunately, it's an early Roche spawn too.
Yeah, that's real fast too. Get yourself an Arcane Rune to boot. 4-3-0. Be very happy to bottle and take that one. And
he's got the level 20 talent.
They know. I think they just caught a small glimpse. Yeah, the Observer Ward just got taken out. So CK with that heart, he's looking at Roshan, the Darkseer. He'll create already the illusions. He sees inside the pit for the moment. A fact doesn't pull him back into the wall, however, does create some problems. Reality Rift with a stun. Abaddon's already gone down. They can move over with the buyback from Meepo. They're coming into fight. 4-3-0, the first target. They're going to proof all on top of him with a Pyro Strike. Xingqiu, my God, this guy is so good. Forever creating the space. He'll have to sacrifice his life. No, it's actually 4-3-0 who will eventually go down. And with the lasso, Meepo is able to back out with 30 HP. The Crypt Swarm, it doesn't manage to connect. Innocence will fall. Neverend will probably join him sometime soon. It's a triple kill for K1. Into the pit you go once more. But the tier 4 towers are slowly being chipped away while this Roshan fight continues. Another back wall, well, that instantly disappeared, but Faith Beyond keeps the stuns up. CK just continuously resetting thanks to this heart, keeping the pressure up. He doesn't have a team, but he's got a Darkseer. That's enough. Just Iron Shell him up, continue the surge. Another Soulbind connecting Neverend together. But they'll back up. Time to Shrine, and then time to fight.
The Meepo's just so afraid to engage. He wanted to wait for that Shrine to come back up because he's got no buyback. DP ult's going to get popped, though. No Leshrac for 25, keep in mind. But if you take this engagement for too long, Anvorgesa, you're going to be in trouble when Ferrari comes back.
They thought they were in Roshan. Xingqiu Pyro Striked for it. Now the Doombringer caught outside the pit.
They got the
quick dance. The pulls him out! They won't get the Aegis to the chains. EHOME unwillingly repositioned. And they will push for more. Whisper was flagged as a hero. And man, he is one. He's an Avenger.
That's huge. And now Chris Brown is ready to rock and roll. He's going to look to cut top wave. Mid is pushing in. You have a buyback on Faith Beyond. No Doom. But doesn't matter. You got to be careful. Yeah, you better give him some tips.
Aegis and cheese. The only downside, yeah, he took the Aegis. And like that,
you're okay with that. You want Meepo to have it for sure. Maybe the CK, even at this point, he is so farmed. This is that Midas coming into effect, along with that 150 GPM talent he picked up at 20.
They're starting.
There's the buyback.
They're trying to go on him, but then you've got some protection. Lotus Orb being triggered, allowing him just to run back away from 4-3-0. He's burned half his mana for this initiation. Batrider is hoping for its own attack.
That was reflected from the Lotus Orb Lightning Storm that actually canceled Faith Beyond's Blink, or he would have been able to follow up with the stun, instead stomping the ground. And you just got to be careful. It's like every fight that goes wrong, not to throw him under the bus, but it feels like Meepo is in a position he shouldn't be and goes down. And I don't know if that's like an item build thing. It is not a hero I think I've like really ever considered myself an expert on, but no real like HP items, right? It's a Hex, it's a Shadow Blade. He's only got 2.2k HP on the main hero. That's not a lot.
It's more reliant on the synergy with CK to be the front line of 4 seconds on the stun. Soulbind as well as the silence. Pulled them together, and with the double lasso it's going to do work. But again, this Pyro Strike in the back lines. But EHOME don't have the sustain. The back into a 3-man wall. My God, please, someone give Whisper a very nice drink. He's earned it after this game 1. Doom is down for a minute and a half. Neverend's going to join him as well. He has buyback available, but no exism. You'll pop 3, but can Ferrari 4-3-0 end up surviving? The Pyro Strike again, Xingqiu. My God, this guy. Such great stuns, but you're not giving up. CK, way too deep. He'll consume the cheese. He's got more life, and here comes Wister. Surge him out. The Burrow Strike's up, but he's been pulled back, actually being relocated thanks to the Burrow Strike. Lotus Orb reflect. He needs more time, so the heart can actually hit. He's going to get further away, create more space. Up in the air, Whisper, he'll get silenced, but there's Lotus Orb trying to break free. SK's beginning his TP up. They really need to kill Whisper. Don't Burrow Strike him. You'll end up repositioning him back out again. He wants to search. Okay, now they do it. Now that Lotus is gone.
Whisper is insane. So the Lotus Orb to reposition the CK on the initial stun, buy some time, but he actually vacs the Leshrac TP to prevent Ferrari from cutting him off as the CK runs out the base through bottom. Just well played. They're still not killing enough buildings for my liking, but they're cementing their advantage. They're forcing buybacks. They got another round of 4 bounties. And you can see also that they've identified the win condition, right? They're going for the Abaddon, and as soon as Y is forced to pop his ultimate, you can now Grimstroke ult and double lasso, and there's no method of cleanse available anymore. You're going to drag those 2 heroes back into the Thunderdome. You pop the Phantasm, the Meepo's there. It's too much damage for anyone lasso with the Abaddon to deal with, and then he obviously will fall shortly after. Mid lane.
Meepo running in close. They see Neverend, but the initiation's already happened on the Batrider. Get his BKB off now, but already down to so low life. Needs to get back behind the tower, but Stinger just doesn't have the movement speed and no buyback available. He actually bought Blink Dagger
Yep.
just before death.
Well, it's still on cooldown for a minute, so he would have the gold anyway. The concern now is that Meepo, he's still playing without buyback for 3 more minutes. So even though they have this huge 22k gold lead, you've still got to be cautious because EHOME can do so much building damage as we're about to witness right here. No Phantasm, just get either 10 seconds away, then you can look to fight if you're Anvorgesa.
They need to buy more time. Either that, they're willing to accept the loss of the racks. I see a Meepo pushing bottom. I see 2 Meepos pushing top. In fact, I think there's 3 up on top. So EHOME, they're already worried about it. They're trying to return. And XinQ, he'll do some defense.
And this is the thing, Synderen mentioned it in the pregame. You know, this is a Meepo. As the game continues, it gets harder and harder to play this hero efficiently. There's so much AoE damage on EHOME. It gets spooky. You have a Scotty now, so the HP pool of the Meepos has increased by about 1,000. You also got that health talent, 400, because he is the first 225 as expected. See, CK is closing in on his 25.
It's just so much health across the board, though. Like, between the Meepo, between the CK, we've seen, like, how many times have both of these heroes just walked away?
Yep.
From a fight, and EHOME's like, what chase have we got?
It's all about the ultimates, because now you have Phantasm and there's no DP ulti, so you're going to be confident as Anvorgesa. They're going to walk straight into the base. Waves are pushing. Trying to think if there are any huge levels. 25 on DP is nice. I expect the spirit damage, or +8 spirits instead of exorcism grants haste, but either are fine. The big one is the Retract of Ferrari. You want those edict explosions badly.
Meepo is just keeping EHOME's attention sideways. There's just silence in the back line. Singer jumps in. He gets a double lasso, pulling it back out. You don't need no axe when you got a Grimstroke. Just hold him in position in the wall again. EHOME cannot move further away. 4-3 gets himself a great stump of Faith Beyond. He cannot survive in the middle of all of this without buyback inside the Dark Sea wall. EHOME, they just don't have enough life. Another great stump from XinQ. Create a little bit more space for Neverend to get the Spirit Siphon off. Now with the Epicenter, he'll get that out too, but held back. The Earthbind. SK cannot get involved. They've got all the regeneration. Still fighting under the wall, but how many times does XinQ get himself a 6-man stun? A couple or more. I'd like to see a couple. Run out, back, more space being created. Turner in, going back in for the stun. But again, XinQ, he just gets stun after stun after stun. But the bigger hero who's just able to survive, it's K1. He'll be able to finish the job if they just had a little detection. They don't have it, however. It's just Whisper as well as K1 working together. Grimstroke will buy back to be part of the party, but so long death timers for EHOME.
And no buybacks available. They're just going to potentially look for a throne here. XinQ doing his best. He's playing a game of his life, but it's just not going to matter. He's going to go down. No buyback. Go for throne here, right?
Yeah, you go for throne. You totally go for throne. Guys, get on the... Yeah, GG. EHOME is just like, yeah, you're going for throne right now. This game is over. The CK's too strong. EHOME, man, it just felt like every single fight, they were getting hit by themselves in the Dark Sea or wall, and then they couldn't actually finish any job that they put their mind to.
It started just because when the game gets more complicated, it was so much more difficult for the Abaddon to properly shield off one of his teammates as they got lassoed. They're consistently getting those double lassos. You have a Blink BKB, and all of a sudden, Stinger, I'm saying how hard this game will be. It gets real easy when you pick up these items. And I got to say, you can see from their expression, I don't know if Anvorgesa expected this, but they're hyped. But you got to remember, guys, it's game one. It's game one. This is a best-of-3 series. You got to keep your composure. EHOME, you learned a lesson here.
Yeah. Careful of the 5th pick. Anvorgesa's got a couple of things up their sleeves.
Yep.
And how do you prepare for that in the next drafting phase?
Well, you just I think pick a more balanced lineup, right? You have no hero that's truly a physical damage scaling carry, and you don't have those huge power spikes that we saw from Anvorgesa. Like Anvorgesa, you have the CK Heart. You had the Hex on the Meepo. You had all these timings where it was like, oh wow, like this is actually kind of scary. EHOME, it's like, well, we can do more damage now, but it just...
I hit level 20 talent.
Yeah, and really, again, game of XinQ's life, he had so many huge stuns. It just it doesn't matter. And I would say moving forwards in the series of EHOME, I'm prioritizing 2nd pick over everything else because I don't want to get cheesed again.
All right.
Not even cheesed, really. That was just a great Meepo game. So, you know,
it was
great pick.
Great draft, great pick. Because this is a best-of-3, no 2-game series, no 1-game series. This is the full slog to find out who will be the best team to advance in the GSL group.